Oh, hello, and welcome to another Today's Decay. We're celebrating births and beginnings and everything important since the dawn of time. January 11th, we're here with Hollywood's Maddest Doctors. It was written by Gregory William Mank. Both him and David J. Scowl are two of the preeminent horror film historians out there. They've both written some really great stuff. I feel like David Scowl is maybe more out there in the universe, and so I'm going to sing the praises of Gregory Mank. What else did I read of his that was really good? Hollywood Cauldron was one of his. Karloff and Lugosi, A Haunting Collaboration, I think, was one of his. Did he also... I think he did Vampire Over London. I could be wrong about that. Anyway, he did Hollywood's Maddest Doctors, which is on Lionel Atwill, Colin Clive, and George Zucco. Lionel Atwill famously was ostracized from Hollywood after having a whole bunch of sex parties in his house, being caught in his wife's lingerie and high heels, blacklisted. Hollywood turned their backs on him after being welcomed into his house for years. Colin Clive, Dr. Frankenstein himself, drank himself to an early death. And George Zucco, depending on which story you read, played many a mad doctor in somewhat classic and a series of B horror films, and then maybe got so wrapped up in the role that went insane and died laughing in a mental institute. That's not what it says here. That is what it says in Hollywood Babylon, Kenneth Anger's Hollywood Babylon, which I got right here. That's what it says here. And then George Zucco's family, I guess, were very outspoken about the fact that that's not what happened. Now, are they just trying to be defensive? I think it's his daughter who was saying what Kenneth Anger wrote wasn't right. Maybe, maybe not, because a lot of what's in Hollywood Babylon makes for great reading. But it could very easily just be because Kenneth Anger is looking to have you hear the sound of his voice. I don't know. But yeah, Hollywood's Maddest Doctors. It's a really good book, actually. I feel like I just sold Hollywood Babylon, but I was trying to sell Gregory Mank's book because this is well written, well researched, and I think it leaves it somewhat open to interpretation. Yeah. Why are we talking about George Zucco? He was in Voodoo Man with Bela Lugosi and John Carradine. He was in The Flying Serpent, which is kind of a remake of The Devil Bat, but starring Quetzalcoatl instead of a giant bat. What else? A whole bunch of others. Yeah. He was born today, 1886. Not a bad day to watch some of his films. What else? Valeska Gert, born today, 1892. She's super cool. Almost nothing of hers exists today, which is maddening because she is adorable and wild and a force of nature and a living, breathing cartoon character come to life. I think the name of her art form was grotesque ballet. Could be wrong about that, something like that. But there's like such few and far between material of hers that exists today. But the little bit that does, she was like a Weimar Republic German era ballet dancer and maybe actress to a degree, but more like physical performer who seems like somewhere between a sad, tragic clown meets with an insane asylum, and some Salvador Dali dream come to life. She's awesome, and she lived to like this ripe old age and became like a inspiration to the uh, Berlin or German punk movement in the late 70s. What can't Valeska Gert do? I don't know. Yeah, check her out. Valeskagert. Slim Harpo, the coolest of the cool, born today, 1924. I am a big Slim Harpo fan for sure. Yeah. Happy Harmonies Bottles premiered today, 1936. This is a really good film. I almost took out the projector and film screen and everything, but it's late. I didn't do it. Sorry. The cartoon is great. It's one of those like 30s cartoons where all sorts of inanimate objects suddenly get faces and arms and legs and dance around and cause havoc. And is it all a drug-induced stupor? I don't even think we need to answer that question. Just see Bottles, 1936. You'll love it. Eyes Without a Face, Franju's classic horror film, premiered today, 1960, aka Horror Chamber of Dr. Faustus. This movie's really good. I haven't seen it in a long time. Definitely has some like dreamlike qualities that to me are almost more reminiscent of, is it Renoir's Beauty and the Beast? Who did Beauty and the Beast? I think so, right? I don't know. Either way, I saw the premiere of Danzig's Veronica, the New York premiere. What was it now? 2 years ago? 2.5 years? I don't know. Time flies. I'd say we must be having fun, but it's clear we're not. Yeah, saw the film. Danzig was there, introduced it, and did a Q&A afterwards, although nobody was allowed to ask questions. He answered his own questions. One of them was, what are your influences and like why did you make this movie? Because, you know, for those that haven't seen Veronica, well, you haven't seen Veronica. He compared his work, saying that he was very much inspired by Eyes Without a Face. I don't know. Always good to have goals, right? Yeah. Anyways, what else? 1972 today, the made-for-TV movie, The Night Stalker, Kolchak, The Night Stalker, premiered, which, have I ever seen? I've seen parts of the TV show, which I really enjoyed, but I've heard this is like a incredibly scary made-for-TV production that maybe I'll see for the first time today on the day of its premiere. Maybe you should do the same. We'll see. Anyway, that's it. The whole day. All things you can base your life around should you want to. Otherwise, what are we doing? We're just waiting for life to get better. Until tomorrow. Goodbye.